Good evening, everyone. Who do we got in the chat tonight? How's everybody doing? We've got Marianne Bimler, who is the first one in here at 6:54. We have Arlene. Thank you for coming in. There's Linda Peterson, Rebecca Touched by Yarn, and Heather Landskron. Awesome. There's DJ Turner Rue and James Hall. And Sherman Family Farm. So I'm still doing the same stuff, but I do feel a lot better because I think we're accomplishing it. We're knocking it out pretty good. Papa and I have a couple more vineyards to do, which is, see, where is it? I make my little lists of what rows and what they need to be done. That's a lame one. This one was pretty hairy. But we're doing it. We're getting it done. I think we might possibly be picking by Monday. It opened on Monday, this previous Monday, and but our grapes just weren't there yet on the sugar content. Hey there, wooden things and stuff. That's Mike. And there's the Old Man King Homestead, and there's Irene Turner. And Lori, Prepping for Heaven. Good evening. No judgment here with Tish Ross. Here you go, Tish. He's still nervous. But I have to say he did really good today. He had his first veterinarian appointment and really nothing much to do there. He was all up to date and everything, but me as a new owner, I took him in and got him started with his veterinarian, introduced him to her, and got some flea and tick medication. And what else? He got the thermometer, but he took it just fine. Didn't have a problem with it, I guess. There's Chris, Adventure Awaits. It's my buddy, and hopefully we can go hiking soon. I told him we're going to have to wait until after harvest, but I think that's going to be very shortly. There's MT Homestead, and it's lemon water. Can you see in there? Lemon water. I don't drink coffee at 10 o'clock at night, but it gives me the excuse to use your cup. So we did that, and my sister went with me just for the fun of it, and I stopped at her house on the way back, and she's got 2 dogs, which I guess you could call her dogs, his cousins. That she's got a little girl named Delilah, and Baxter is her little boy, and they actually did very well together and had a lot of fun running around their yard, and so that was good. That was the first time I saw some of his enthusiasm for life. Keep in mind, it's going to take a little while for him to get his personality completely in check, but he's doing it. He's doing it much better now than even last week. So this is an open mic. I did put the link at the top of the chat. So anybody who would like to come in and discuss what they did this last week, that would be great. I see Sherman Family Farm. He's somewhere. I lost track of where he was. They were talking about where he was and stuff, and then I forgot where he is. He's everywhere. There's Jennifer Ocean Homestead and Tony of Our Cabin in the Woods. And Gunther. Rebel at Heart, that's Kelly. And there's Amy from Leonard Mountain Homestead. James Hall, how are you doing with your shoulder? Are you getting any further along with that? what was I just going to say? Oh, Adventure Awaits Chris. He has another channel. It's called Retro Replay 83, which is a gaming channel, and he just got monetized. Was it yesterday? I think he told me. So congratulations to you. Now we need to get your big channel monetized. I know you got a lot of stuff on there that you like Disneyland and stuff like that might not be, what is it? Due to copyrights. He's concerned about it. So, but you never know. Maybe you could do something about that. Start a different channel. Because he's got some good adventures that aren't commercial places. They're more like hiking and places that wouldn't have copyright issues. Although, I don't know. How do other people get away with doing Disneyland trips and showing the music and all that stuff? They must have some kind of plan that I don't know anything about. There's Old Man King Homestead. And he's on after me at the 10 o'clock hour Central. Our Louisiana Life, he was on last week. And I know that he got over his 1,000. So go over and check out his channel and give him some hours. There's Joe Jacobson. Good evening. Thank you for coming in. Tish, you're working too hard. Hey, there's Johnny Gillum. Haven't seen him personally in a while. So yeah, it was nice to see. I'm going to socialize this dog really good. And so that when it does come time to go to a meetup or something, I could take him with me and he will have a good time with it. I really enjoyed taking Paco when I did last. Well, that was all. We're going on a year and a half now that we went to Mid-America. So that'll be fun. And I think he would do well. He does very well in the car. And if there's any, if that's an example of how he is with meeting people and stuff, he pretty much, he'll let you pick him up. And well, he won't let you pick him up, but if I hand him to you, he'll fall asleep in your arms eventually. But he's very easygoing when it comes to being held. Let's see. Southwest Living with Val is in here. Good evening. And celebrating farm life. Let's see. Am I missing it? Did I say hi to Arlene? Yeah, I did. She was one of the first ones in. $5 super chat. Well, thank you very much, James Hall. You know what? Did I see that? Did you give me an answer? If you did, I missed it. But I hope you're doing well. I hope all you guys are doing well. I tell you, what was it? Maybe a few weeks ago, I was telling you guys I was going through some bumminess. Well, I feel so much better getting this stuff that we need to get accomplished. The other day, we just spent on yard work and got some really good stuff done and made me feel good. Somebody else just came in. Where did I see that? Yes. So thank you very much. You asked about the shoulder. My surgery was approved. Oh, cool. Do you have a date? Do you have a date as to when that's going to happen? And Bland's Promised Land is in here. You know, I tried to get. I would. Don't be too surprised if Troy doesn't come in, because I asked him to come up on panel tonight. He said he'll try, but he hasn't come into the chat yet, so I don't know. You want to see some banter? Get Troy in here with Monica. Monica from Bland's Promised Land. Let's do that. Let's watch them duke that out. Angie's here. Good evening, Angie. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming in. I'm not panicking yet, but this is an open mic, people. Chris was talking about doing, Chris as an Adventure Awaits, was talking about doing some lives, but that would be with this gaming stuff. I says, well, you know, you do lives with that, you might as well start doing it with your adventure channel too. I think I'm going to sneak him in on a live when we go hiking. That's something I would like to do. Now that I have unlimited data on my phone with an iMac or iPhone now, I can actually go out in the grapes and do a live from the grapes. In fact, I've been thinking about doing that with the harvest, go live while we're harvesting grapes rather than doing a content video. I think it would be more interesting, and because I've already done a content video for the last 3 years in doing grapes, and they all seem like the same video to me. Hey, there's Hiking with Jackie Boy. He sure is happy about that fiance stuff, because I keep seeing pictures of him and his girl, his woman. That's nice. Congratulations to you two. Yeah, Monica, I think that would be the easiest and maybe the most interesting, because then people can interact with what they're seeing while they're seeing it. I've never done that before, but I imagine it couldn't be much different than doing what I'm doing right now, only it would be out there in the grapes, maybe from the top of the grape picker. Let's see. Got 39 people in the house. Thank you so much for coming in, people. You're such a great support to my channel and everybody's channel. It's nice being part of a community. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Has anybody got any questions? We are trying to get organized that way. Fun. Yeah. Organization's always fun, isn't it? The JB was closed. Let's see. So where are you, Josh? I guess you're not coming up north anytime soon. That's okay. Although if you were here next week, you'd actually get to see harvest. Oh, I guess I have a dead spot here. I have unlimited data with T-Mobile. Unlimited Mexico is great deal for $63 a month. That's not bad. It's not bad. Let's see. So I'm going to be, as soon as this harvest is over, that's when I'm going to start jumping on my channel again. I'm sure most of you might have noticed I haven't really put anything out in maybe what was the last, since the car got hit, since the barn got hit by a car. But I do have 3 videos in the works, plus harvest, have a live, or I might then do something. I might do some shorts with that. I'm not sure. I put a short out today of Dexter's visit with my sister and her dogs. Oh, wait a minute. No, I didn't. What am I talking about? I'm supposed to be putting that out tomorrow morning. Hey, how you doing?
You looked lonely, Brian.
You know, I'm good for about 15 minutes. I'm good for about 15 minutes, and then I start, pound and post, dog. What else am I going to talk about?
It's fine. It felt like you were like bordering on begging for somebody to come on. So
well, I don't know about begging, but
no,
it's always good. You came in at the good time.
Almost.
That was probably the longest dead time I've ever had. I don't know how you do it. You could sit there and talk for 4 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours. I'm like, wake up from my nap. Is he still on?
Well, not as much now that I'm not drinking, but it's I can still easily fill a couple hours for sure.
I've watched just about everything you've done, at least since I've known you, and then some other stuff before I knew you, but I did not watch your latest content video. I need to do that.
Oh, the 1 month sober?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sucks.
This sucks.
This sucks video.
Yeah. Well, it's going okay. I'm just working right now on because that sort of declaration of sobriety video did so well. It brought so many new people to my channel.
Yeah.
I'm editing right now, sort of top 10, my favorite 10 things I've ever put out video. So like sort of a top 10 projects recap thing with all the links and everything, so people can have a nice little entry point into what it is that I do and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll go all right.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. When you have a huge number of new subscribers, that would be excellent to do.
And I mean, a lot of the comments,
video telling about your channel, showing what you've done.
A lot of the comments that I was getting were like, "Oh, brand new, never seen your stuff before," kind of comments. And so, like, let's give all these new people, now that they've clicked the subscribe button, get all the back catalog of stuff in front of them. So,
yeah. And you're fresh in their account, so they will be getting their notifications.
Yeah.
Pretty regularly. Until they're not watching you anymore, then
until they get sick of me. That's
right. You'll be at the bottom of their subscription list.
Yeah, unsubscribe.
Have you ever scrolled through that and go, "I'm still subscribed to that"?
Once in a while, when people don't put out videos for a long time, and then I'll get something in my feed, I'll be like, "Oh, it's them."
No, that's going to be me the next time I put a content video out. They're going to be like, "What? A Vineyard Farmhouse video? Where'd that come from?"
No, I've felt like that at times too when I go like I mean, other than my live show, there are stretches where I go a couple of months without a video. Like it feels longer than it actually is because when I really was going hard at it, I was doing weekly like project videos or tool reviews or unboxings or whatever. Like I did have weekly content coming out for like 2 years. So now when I do, even if I did one every month, it would feel like not very much,
I just want to check out what this channel was that I just recently watched because you might actually like it. Let's see.
It's okay. I'll keep the people entertained.
No, it's right
Hi,
here.
people.
It's called,
everybody.
It's called Bailey Workshop or Daily Woodworks.
Bailey Woodward. I know Bailey.
Oh, you know Bailey?
Yeah, he comes to my live show.
He was doing these really cool tops
Mhm.
on the lathe the other day, and I said, "Have you tried using paint pens?"
Yeah.
So he went out and bought some.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they turned out really cool. I like that. So
yeah, he's been doing more lives. Like he actually, I don't think I ever saw him do a live until a couple of weeks ago, and he's been going nuts with them. He does one every couple of days now.
Oh yeah, he has been. I asked him. I told him he was welcome to come up on panel, and I know I don't have a lot of people who are makers come in on my channel yet. I've got you and a few others, but I would like to have a big mix of homesteaders and makers. Would be awesome. Keep it fresh and with conversation and stuff.
Yeah, because we're always making something.
Well, I haven't. I'm working on it. I'll get there.
Well, I'll get there. You got real work to be doing, though.
Well, everybody else does too. There's no excuses.
Well,
don't you have a full-time job?
No, I don't. I don't have a full-time.
Oh, I thought you did.
I have a part-time job, but I work 3 days a week.
You do classes?
It's true. I do. I have a full-time work schedule in terms of I work 3 days in a normal job sort of situation, like 8.5 hours a day.
Your real job?
Well, it's like, but with a boss.
Yeah.
And then I've, the YouTube stuff and all the video stuff and teaching stuff and a little bit of freelance work in writing and photography and stuff sometimes. And like, I have a full-time employment. It's just my actual job is only 3 days a week.
Oh, I meant to. This is just like a what do they call that? Awareness type thing. Any of you with little dogs, pay attention to what they're doing outside because I have 2 huge hawks that fly over our property all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't let him go freelance and all over the place. That wouldn't be a good idea with him anyway. We already went through that. But they can do some serious damage or kill your pets. So please don't let your small animals, the bigger ones, the hawk's probably not going to mess with, but a Dexter size one, he's probably heavy enough he couldn't lift him, but.
Oh, we have eagles here that like with 5-6 foot wingspans that will absolutely pick up and take away your cat or your small dog. Like,
and people who have fenced in yards and stuff, well, that's just caged in food. that's just caged for them. So they're, yeah, always supervise your dogs while they're outside, especially with the small ones and cats. Or if you have a pet chipmunk, that's one of the things that's going on is I was out there walking around with him and he will, lunge for a chipmunk or something. And I was like, there's no chipmunks out here anymore. I see one squirrel and about 2 chipmunks anymore. And we used to have, like a couple of months ago, we had a lot of chipmunks.
Hmm.
And those hawks have been taking care of them. And they love to be around the grapes because you're out there on the tractor and stuff, stirring those animals around.
Right.
And they peg them off. Well, so that's all I want to say about that. Just pay attention to your animals, Tish. You got small ones. I may joke by calling it a chicken hawk, but it's not really a joke. All right, so let's continue with the spinning stuff.
Spinning stuff?
Yeah, lathe.
Oh.
Lathe or whatever.
Yeah. I got the new lathe. New to me. I still haven't swapped it out down at the shop I'm gonna bring my Laguna back here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because it's just down at the shop, I have to move them in and out of a closet to bring them out to teach. And the new one that I got is probably 30 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 20 pounds lighter, but I mean, it's when you're talking about lugging out a 130, 140 pound machine versus a 100-pound machine. So
he came in. Bailey Woodworks came in.
Oh, hey.
Why don't you pop up on panel and talk to us? You could do it.
I've never actually seen that dude. So, because he just even on his show, it's just his hands. And
that would be awesome to have the three of us talking about stuff. Yeah. So tell me the size of your Laguna again, and is the next size up much more expensive?
Yes, I have a 12-16, so 12-inch bit over the bed capacity, so I could do a 12-inch bowl and a 16-inch spindle capacity. But I have an extension that gives me another 10 inches, so I can do sort of 25, 26-inch lengths. And then the next one up from that, I don't know. I think it's like an 18, maybe. Oh, no, it's 15, 30 something, maybe. I don't know. And it's easily twice as much.
Yeah, I guess I'll just stick with the 12-16.
But the Nova, I was going to tell you, the Nova that I got used that I'm going to swap out down at the shop for my Laguna might be a good place to look at for you if you're trying to save a few bucks, because it basically has everything my Laguna has in terms of features. It's got variable speed. It's got reverse. It's essentially the same capacity in terms of the 12-16-ish. And I think if you looked it up, somebody told me on my show, I think it's about $700 American as opposed to $1,000 American.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm going to bring it down to the shop. It's going to replace my Laguna for teaching purposes. So it's fully qualified to do what it needs to do.
Cool. Bailey Woodwork says, someday I am in bed now. What state are you from, Bailey?
Oh, hold on. I think I know this. I think he's in Ohio.
Really?
Maybe. No, I might be wrong. I mixed those guys up. There's like a core group, and I think I'm mixing him up. He might be in New York.
There's Tim Mallon.
He's in New York. I think he's in New York.
Western New York? Are you in Western New York, Timothy? You said Timothy was?
I think so. Like I said, I mixed these guys up a little bit, but I'm pretty good at remembering. I know Tim's an all hand tool all the time guy. He refurbishes old hand tools and planes and things like that. He doesn't, he's not a machinery fella. He does hand tool woodworking.
Oh, that's cool. That definitely fits in the category of my interest, because refurbishing stuff would be interesting too. I like the idea of making something old new again, not necessarily. I think we talked about this already.
Yeah.
But
he offered, I've got some things that he's offered to refurbish for me, but I think by the time I send it there and he sends it back, we'd end up having to pay as much as the thing's worth to have it done. So
he says he owns a drill and a grinder, though.
oh yeah, but in terms of the work that he does, the woodworking he does is all hand tool, I think.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, he was like, hey, you can send it to me, I'll fix it up for you. But then I was like, you know, at $40 each way to ship it, like I don't think this thing's worth $80. So
yeah, but the collaboration videos you could come up with it.
Yeah, I don't know that he actually does videos. Tim, do you do like YouTube? I don't think so. He does some Instagram stuff, I think, but I can't see answers, by the way. I can only see us.
What's that? Oh, you can't see the chat?
No.
Why can't you?
I can either see the chat or us. I can't do both.
Oh, well. Let's see. What was he just saying? I am refurbishing a desk, 6 drawers, and a nightstand.
Sweet.
That's Southwest Living with Val. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I watch that. I watch refurbishing stuff and making stuff. Anything to do with the tooling and stuff. I love it. Some nights I'll just sit and veg out and watch. Spinning or lathe turning is something I watch a lot of because it's so interesting to see how they take these blocks of goo, stick them between 2 spin points, and next thing you know, it's amazing the what comes out of it. It's like you can't predict it sometimes. I look at what they set up as a main block, or what do they call that? A blank.
Blank, yep.
And yeah. I especially love the bamboo ones, but I've watched so many of them, I'm kind of getting bored of it.
Yeah. No, I like letting the piece of wood tell me what it needs to be more than just forcing my will upon it in terms of I find the cut that the tool is making at the time kind of guides my way. When I find a nice spot for the cut to live and things are working well, I just kind of let it happen and then see what comes out of it. I don't try to force a certain shape into things, or because a lot of times you'll get riding into a cut on a lathe and it feels good, everything's working well, and you just kind of don't want to veer away from that, and it'll turn your piece into something interesting, so
some of those foreign channels that do the lathe work, and they'll use this glue that's almost looks like a brown butter or something like that. Do you know anything about that? I mean, they must mix something in the glue that gives it so that the glue is actually the seams and the glue is actually part of the design. Right.
I mean, I do that. I fill cracks and stuff with CA glue and stuff like that. And I have different pigmented versions of cyanoacrylate glue that I use sometimes. Like last week's show I did. Oh yeah, it's right here. I did this ash bowl on the show last week.
Yeah.
And it had a big knot in it right there. And so I filled that with black CA glue as I was turning it.
And you use this what looked like a stick of butter to
finish it.
Coat it and final finish it.
Yeah.
What is that called?
It's a product called Custom Grit. It's a friend of mine in Australia named Scott makes it. It's a polishing. Basically it's your finish and your final sanding step in one sort of bar. It also comes in a paste in a tin. Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. He was actually technically the second company ever to reach out to me on YouTube and ask me if they could send me free stuff to try.
Yeah.
And ever since he sent it to me, it's the only finish it's almost the only finish I use when I'm turning.
High-speed crayon.
It's the high-speed crayon is that's what I call it. But it's Custom Grit is the name of the company. It's in Australia. And he's got various levels of abrasion. Yeah. And two forms. It comes in a paste and as a bar.
Bailey Woodworks says that's hide glue.
It could be. Yeah.
Is it brownish?
Yeah, hide glue generally is sort of a sap brown kind of.
Well then, is it thicker, like almost like spreading?
Yeah, it's sort of a thick, translucent. It's like, remember the old school LePage glues that had the little rubber tip that you like had to squidge out by going.
I'll write that down so I can look it up.
Hide glue generally. You can get liquid hide glue, but hide glue traditionally is sort of hard-ish, and you use like a warming pot to like melt it. And
Leonard Mountain Homestead says, oh wait a minute, that wasn't her. Lori Prepping for Heaven says it like molasses.
Yes. But like I said, a lot of people have what they call a glue pot that's basically like a little warmer.
Can you dye glue?
Sure.
Would the dye interfere with its?
You would just want to make sure that the dye, whatever the base of the dye is the same as the base of the glue. So if you're using a water-based glue, you would use a water-based dye.
I was thinking, like if how you see some people using like construction color paper and they do it in layers of resin.
Yeah, it's called micarta.
What if you just made like a paper paste using it?
A paper paste?
Yeah, or even with sawdust and dye it and then put that in resin and mix it up. You could do layers you could spread that in layers, couldn't you?
Yeah, except
would it be solid enough, or would it blow up?
Well, the sawdust wouldn't dissolve, if that's what you're trying to get at, in terms of like it would still be clumpy. So it wouldn't be able to like spread it like into a sheet. But if you wanted to dye sawdust and then fill it, use it as the base, fill it with epoxy, it would just look like a bunch of sawdust suspended in plastic.
Doesn't sound very attractive.
I mean, it could be. It could be if you dyed a bunch of sawdust like different colors and then mixed it all together and then filled it with epoxy, it would just look like glitter.
I wouldn't mix it all together. I would do it. I would smear it and let it cure in layers, like almost like you do with the construction paper. You would do it in layers of color,
right?
But you'd be able to do it in curves if you wanted to, or whatever.
Sure. I mean, you go ahead. That sounds interesting.
Stuff out, huh?
I'm gonna let you do that experiment.
Well, I will, and then when it screws up, I'll.
No,
hey,
then when.
You know what? You make the
awesome.
video, even if it screws up, you do the video.
Well, yeah, no, but then it's going to turn into awesome. You're going to be like, see, Mike, I told you this was a good idea.
Or see, Mike, you were right. This really sucks.
Well, I'm not envisioning what you're envisioning, I think, is the issue. But yeah, I mean, you can do all kinds of fun things with epoxy resin. Like, you just have to make sure that the resin you're working with is appropriately formulated for the project that you're doing. Yeah. Because different kinds of resins are created for different purposes, right? Some are made to be adhesives, some are made to be like tabletop coatings, some are made to be casting deep things. And if you use the wrong resin for what it's not designed for, you can run into problems pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know. There's a deep pour resins, and then there's probably other. I have not, because I don't have a lathe yet and started doing anything. Although you could do some pretty cool stuff on a bandsaw too in resin.
No, I've made resin charcuterie boards and things with just like casting, like pouring half a resin blank and making it into charcuterie boards. I've done coasters. I've done I wouldn't say I've done a lot with resin, but I've dabbled enough with it to know what I'm talking about, to be able to tell people. And I teach a lot of like resin classes at the shop in terms of making those sort of like wave, like ocean theme wave blendy topped charcuterie boards and stuff. I teach that class down at the studio.
I wonder if all these resin bowls are going to be a fad that kind of fades out.
Oh, I guarantee, like the epoxy river table thing, I think it is already sort of at least fading, but like I think in 20 years, people who spent $10,000 on one of these things are going to be trying to get rid of it, and they're not going to be able to.
For $10. Well, it's not that
they look cool.
Would stop doing it, and that people wouldn't enjoy owning one. It's just that the videos themselves, eventually, somebody who watches that stuff all the time, and even I've noticed it already, is I'm looking, okay, I've seen somebody do that already.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot with anything. It just, when you think about, when I start making stuff, I'm going to be having these, how do I say it? I might not be thinking about what I've seen before in the past, and then find that I did something that was done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's
subconscious.
There's nothing wrong with doing things that other people have done before in terms of like approaching a project or using the same materials to the same effect, because people are still people who want to see you or me or whoever do something, they want to see our take on something.
Oh.
But at the same time, I don't do things because I saw somebody else do it, and like, I don't do trends and stuff like that. It's like if I think something's cool, I might want to try it, and I'm going to record myself trying it. And a lot of people like ask me to do stuff because they saw somebody else do this. Can you do that? And to see how I would approach it or whatever. Like somebody was asking me a little while ago, like, you should do a video on like how you sharpen your hand planes and chisels and stuff. And I was like, there's so many videos out there that teach people how to sharpen their chisels and hand planes, that like me adding another bit to anybody. So I don't know.
What did you do?
Yeah,
and I had my arms folded. I didn't touch nothing.
I saw it went spinny spin on both of our screens. I don't know.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Here's a question for you.
Sure.
I'm just interested on your take. Okay, so you set up a blank for a bowl.
Okay.
And they're doing it with resin, and I see this all the time. They go and they put all the effort of the design throughout the whole thing, and then go carve out 90% of it on the inside of it. Why not just fill that with something? Couldn't you fill that space with something that could, like waste material or crappy, cheap wood or something?
Yes, that's exactly what you should do. Yeah, why would you just turn away like $100 worth of epoxy? Like, the only reason to do that is because you can. Like, if you're doing it smart, you'd get a bowl like that, you don't care, like a cheap plastic dollar store bowl, and you make a plug of just like pine or something to take up most of the room, and then you fill around it. And then when you're turning it away, most of what you're turning away is just cheap garbage pine from Home Depot.
What is the softest? You would think you could use the softest wood possible, because all it has to do is hold the bowl on the spindle.
Yeah.
Is it called a spindle?
No.
What is it called? I am horrible with.
Well, first, the way
Knowledge.
I do it, it would be you would start with the faceplate and then you would go to a chuck. But
Oh, that's right. Okay, I knew that. I wasn't thinking.
yeah, I mean, you could use whatever cheap garbage wood you have laying around, or you could go get chunks of 2x4 from Home Depot and glue them together and cut a circle or and just do a plug. And lots of people do that. You just haven't seen it, I guess.
Yeah.
People you're watching are being wasteful.
You know, and they're pretty professional people that I'm watching that are turning out amazing stuff, and I just see them like turn out 10 pounds of 10 pounds of center stuff. That's just,
I mean, I guess I understand that, like, technically it's probably better to have it be a cohesive, like, not risk whatever it is that's holding it on the chuck be able to separate from the rest of it, but I can't see that ever happening. Like, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense to waste the expensive epoxy just to turn it away.
and not only the waste, but the time you're spending, because epoxy goes a lot slower than wood, doesn't it? I mean, when you're lathing that out, it's
not necessarily.
Right?
I would say that's negligible, because when you're just worried about just getting it out of there and you're not worried about like nice finishing cuts or whatever, it's not that different in terms of the time it takes. Maybe a little bit, but
Yeah.
you might have to sharpen a little more frequently. I don't think the time is as big an issue for me as the expense, because epoxy is way more expensive than wood.
Tries not to throw glitter. I don't know what that story's about. Yeah, well, I'm going to, unless you can tell me some place that's best to order my Laguna from, I think I'm going to go with the Laguna, because I have, with your advice, also, and checked out a lot of other videos and what people have said, and for the money and the quality, it seems to be what I'm looking for.
I would say that for my opinion, having not tried all of the lathes on the market in that price range, I think that it's probably the best, one of the best, if not the best option in that price range. So what I would do, however, is, since you're clearly not in a huge hurry, I would wait for one of their monthly sales that they do about twice a year, where they do all of their machinery for 10% off. So
that would be the actual Laguna.com site, right?
Yeah, but all of their distributors follow their sales structure. So okay, if they announce, like, follow them on Instagram and stuff, and when they announce like 10% off from now until the 20th or whatever, that's when you want to get it. And then you just go to your local dealer and it'll be 10% off there too.
Cool. Well, that's what I'll be doing. And as soon as I see it, actually, I'm ready. I could actually order it right now.
Yeah. Well, basically that's what I did. I got it when it was 10% off in July of that year or whatever. So I just took that 10% off and I added the extension, which, you know, it was $1,000 lathe and the extension was like $150 or something like that. So I basically put the discount towards the extension and just called it even, kind of a thing.
So the extension it's like an add-on to the end, right?
Yeah.
Does it step down or something? Because that was what wow. Oh, you happen to have it right there.
This is my Laguna bed extension. It just goes on the end of the bed so that my tailstock can go out 10 more inches. But you can also put it on the outside of the headstock, and it's 2 inches lower, so that on the outboard turning side, you can do up to 16-inch bowls.
You can actually turn a bowl on the outside part of the motor.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
It's one of the few where one of the advantages of that lathe over some of the others in that price range is that you can do outboard turning on it.
So
And
you
with
stand
like
on the end
with
and
with
have
that extension is
sideways.
specifically designed to also go on the outside, so to give you 2 inches of extra capacity.
That's all that gives you is 2 more inches
Of
well,
depth.
it's not really. Oh, depth.
So like basically you can turn a 12-inch bowl over the bed of the lathe,
Oh,
or on the outside you can mount that on the outside of the headstock, and you can do a 16-inch bowl, because 2 inches more depth equates to 4 inches more diameter.
Linda says, wait till Father's Day or Christmas. Things go on sale for items of woodworking.
Not necessarily.
Wrong.
Well, not necessarily with the machine companies either. Like they just say, Laguna it will just say, like, you know what, we just next week we're going to do a 2-week long 10% off everything sale or whatever. It doesn't need to be for a reason. They just do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, the year that I got mine, it was just like, July is 10% off machinery month.
All right. Well, I have to see if there's something that gives you those notifications. If you can click on something, I'll give you those notifications in your email when they pop up.
Oh, they probably have a mailing list on their website.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Let's see. Petite Jean River Homestead's in here. How long have you been in here that we were gabbing away and didn't notice you were here? Oh, it looks like he just got in. That's Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
Well, that's cool that we're getting some people in here. Like, I already forgot his last name, Timothy Mallon. And, we got Laginus comes in, and
Bailey.
You and Bailey, and who was the one that? Oh,
Stanifer.
Dad Cave.
Yeah, and Stanifer came in one time.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that comes in here.
I think I even saw Pinnell in here one time.
I do too. I think I remember that. Let's see. 10 minutes. I have less than that. I only have 6.
Uh-oh.
I'm just checking to see if there's anybody in the chat that I have not said hi to. Outdoors with Vance. Good evening, and thank you for coming in. And
I wonder if I come on your live, like if I go live with you, do my people get notified? Is that why they're coming over here?
They're coming over here because they recognize me in your channel.
Right, but in terms of like if I come live on your show, do my subscribers get like a notification that I'm live on somebody else's show?
No. Unless you post that you're going to come on my live and your community.
Or I think there's the YouTube. I don't know if you know about this. They released this Go Live Together feature on YouTube. That I think probably notifies the people on both channels, but I haven't tried it yet.
Well, we could do that. I've been thinking about doing extracurricular lives, lives that are more structured. Like, for example, I said I wanted to go out and do a live broadcast while we were picking our grapes.
Yeah.
That could be a cool thing if we got a group of people who wanted to talk about making stuff and share it all out, because
I don't know what the limitation is on that. I think it might just be a 2 channels at a time, like you and one other person.
I think it depends on what your subscription level is.
Oh, really?
I know with the free subscription, I think I could at least have one. I probably could have more. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't ever do it. If I go into settings,
well, I know like because you use StreamYard,
layouts,
that essentially just does it's like a higher end version of what YouTube is trying to introduce in terms of getting people on the same streams.
I saw that there is something I could touch up your appearance, guests. Just checking real quick, see where I saw that. It's somewhere. It's somewhere. I saw it a couple of weeks ago when I was looking at some stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's when you're setting up.
I would do it for very specific reasons, though. I don't know that I would do my general live like that.
No, I think I would do it more as like, because you already use StreamYard, I think it just makes sense to just stay there. But like for me, I might do one once in a while if I wanted to do like an interview show or something like that, where like I interview another woodworker, then their people would get notified, my people would get notified, and then it would be like a collaborative show kind of thing. But I don't see much use for it.
It all depends on how you're using. I do the basic live stream.
Yeah, but you're using a streaming platform that already allows you to do what that function does. So
yeah, I know there's Streamlab. I've never dealt with that before, but there's more options with that, I think. So let's see. YouTube channel. If they are subscribed to that channel, then it will tell them. Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to check that out, because who knows? It could be beneficial. Find out how that works, because I never really even thought about it. I know that if let's say you were a special guest and I have your title or your channel name in the title,
mm-hmm.
and then somebody looks up you or me, it could pop up in the general feed.
Yeah.
Because I see that. Like if I were to type in any of these guys that I've had as special guests, my lives will pop up with them.
Yeah.
So we got 1 minute left, and we got I want to say thank you to everybody that came into the chat. It's awesome. Yeah. Thank you to my moderators who protect my channel, and thank you to Mike of Wooden Things and Stuff. Go check out his channel and see what he's got going on.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week, Wednesday, 9:00 Central. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.